Behold the Sony Z9D series television. This is a TV that's become kind of legendary in videophile circles, probably because reviewers like myself have said stuff like, it makes us believe in LCD TVs again. And it really is pretty amazing. It's also extremely pricey. You're looking at about $5,500 for the 65-inch or $9,000 for the 75-inch. Is it worth that kind of cash? Let's find out. Let's first start with the design of the TV. This is not a thin and light television. It's actually about 77.1 pounds with the stand affixed, and it's rather thick, but that's because it needs that space to contain its rather elaborate backlight system. I like how they've handled the design of the back of the TV, which I know you don't look at a whole lot, but they've got these panels that very nicely hide the wires, and it gives it a very uniform look. I also like the stand for this TV. It's not particularly large, and it kind of disappears underneath the TV. The bezel isn't particularly trim, but it's not huge either, and honestly, I don't care, because when I look at this TV, all I can see is its amazing picture quality. So what makes the picture on this TV so much better than most of the other LCD TVs out there? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that Sony has 630 individual zones of LED backlights. Basically, every LED light is its own zone. And that means that the processor inside this TV can very carefully control bright and dark areas. This results in some incredible contrast. In HDR mode, with HDR content coming at it, it can max out at 1600 nits. After we calibrated, that came down a little bit, but honestly, it's a really amazing dynamic range. Black levels on this TV are the best we've seen on an LCD, and that's because of all those dimmable zones. With that said, you still get a little bit of blooming and a little bit of light bleed. That's just the nature of LCD TVs, but it's so well mitigated here that I just don't find it distracting. That peak brightness also works really well for non-HDR content. It gives you the impression that you're watching HDR even though you're not. Color accuracy in the Cinema Home preset is pretty solid, although a little bit of tweaking will help boost the greens and bring out the blues, balancing out the overall color palette. I'll be honest with you, the peak brightness had me a little bit concerned. Was it going to be too much, especially when watching in a dark room? No, it's not. It's actually really spectacular. HDR content just leaps off the screen. And when you're watching a really well-mastered Ultra HD Blu-ray, it's honestly one of the best at-home movie watching experiences you can get. If you're familiar with my TV reviews at all, you know that I'm an unapologetic fan of OLED. I really do believe they're the best TVs out there, and that's because of their perfect black levels. This TV does not have perfect black levels. Instead, it overachieves in the peak brightness area, and I can appreciate that as well. But at what cost? Like I said, it's $5,500 for the 65-inch, $9,000 for the 75-inch. That's a lot of cash, and you can get a high-performance OLED that does both HDR10 and Dolby Vision for a lot less money. Which begs the question, who is this TV for? And I think if you're really enthusiastic about high brightness, spectacular HDR pictures, this TV definitely delivers that. It can get a lot brighter than an OLED, and for some folks, that's more compelling. The Sony Z9D is definitely the best LED LCD TV you can buy right now, and it comes with a lot of wow factor, similar to OLED, but just in a different way. If you want a really bright, brilliant picture and you want that HDR content to leap off the screen, there is no better TV on the market right now.